Welcome on into the Wolverine TV. I'm Clayton Sayfie with EJ Holland. We're from thewolverine.com, presented by Lewis Jewelers here, and you can check us out at thewolverine.com. Use that promo code BLUE60. You get 2 months of our premium content absolutely free. EJ, we are going to break down 5 key official visitors for Michigan as visits seem to be opening up starting in June, and the Wolverines are starting to lock in official visits with some top recruits here as everything kind of unfolds and we push towards the summer. So without further ado, let's start with one that is very key and one that we talk about quite a bit, rightfully so. Walter Nolen, 5-star defensive tackle, who is obviously just a huge target for Michigan in the class of 2022, and it looks like they're going to get him back on campus. He was there for an unofficial visit where he couldn't actually be in the facilities here during the dead period, but now he is set to come in when everything opens up.
Yeah, getting in Walter Mullen for an official is huge, especially since he's already been on campus for a self-guided tour. He's probably the biggest prospect remaining on the board overall. You would fill a key position at need. He's a guy that can completely dominate in the trenches, that can come in and start right away as a true freshman. He's the total package. There's a reason he's ranked as the number 3 overall prospect in the country. And I think him setting an official visit to Michigan after coming in on his own time proves the fact that Michigan is a legitimate player in this recruitment. This is a guy that they can win over. Yes, beating Alabama is going to be tough. Beating Georgia is going to be tough. The traditional SEC powers, Ohio State, is very involved as well. Florida has locked in an official visit with him. So, it's going to be a tough get, but at the end of the day, Walter Nolen really likes Michigan. He likes the brand appeal of what Michigan has to offer. He has family in the Detroit metro area. His grandparents actually live up there, and he's close to Michigan commit Cody Jones, and Will Johnson's been working on him as well. So he'll be up there on June 18th, which is the biggest of the official visit weekends, and I'm sure Will Johnson's going to be recruiting him pretty hard on that trip.
Speaking of Will Johnson, he is next on the list. Obviously, he's key. He's in the fold. He's the leader of this 2022 class for Michigan, the 5-star corner from Grosse Pointe, just out of Detroit. He's been to Michigan probably, I don't know, at least over 50 times in his life, considering his dad is a former player. He just grew up a fan of the school, and the fact that he lives just down the road about 20, 30, 40 minutes away. Obviously key getting him back on campus. And honestly, at this point, he's so solid that the biggest reason why it's key to get him back on campus is for recruiting purposes, to help him try to convince other guys to join him.
Yeah, that's the reason he's on this list, is because he is, the key leader of the class, the guy that's, being the player recruiter, similar to what J.J. McCarthy was last cycle. So Will's completely locked in with Michigan. There's no reason to worry about him. I think his visit is more so recruiting guys that are going to be on campus, like Walter Nolen and some of the others that we're about to talk to. But Will, it has more of a quiet demeanor than J.J. McCarthy, who is very open and guys gravitated to, but people respect him so much. And, he's a 5-star guy, just like Walter Nolen. I think that'll appeal to Walter. And I think just getting to know Will and his message and his work ethic, I think a lot of these recruits are going to gravitate to him in a different way than they did with J.J. McCarthy last cycle.
Walter Nolen, who we mentioned at the top, is from Tennessee. So is Miles Pollard, a 4-star defensive back from Brentwood, Tennessee. Same place as Junior Colson, obviously Michigan early enrollee freshman linebacker. He will be coming up. Is he coming up on that same weekend as them? And how big is it that he will be on campus as well?
So Miles is coming in on June 11th. So it'll be the weekend before. I'm sure Will Johnson will try to connect with him, but on an unofficial visit. I feel like Will's going to take like 10 unofficial visits this summer just to meet up with guys. But Miles Pollard was a kid that was considering making a decision this month. It no longer appears that he will be doing that, which means summer official visits will be huge. Michigan will get an OV, Oklahoma will get an OV. And right now, I think those are the top 2 schools on his list. And it's going to come down to which school can impress him the most this summer. So Michigan absolutely has to knock it out of the park when he comes in. He's their top overall cornerback target with Will already committed. They love his length. They love his height and his physicality at the line. He does a great job of playing press man. So I think that right now it's just going to be a Michigan-Oklahoma battle in the summer, and it really is going to come down to which school can win him over.
Yep, and he was on campus, about a month ago as well, just on his own touring. So that obviously is big for Michigan to have as well, the fact that he is familiar and shows that he is interested. He came on his own dime. Now he'll be getting to be able to visit on Michigan's dime. The next guy, Nate Johnson, a quarterback in the class of 2022, 3-star out of Clovis, California. He's a guy that we've talked about more and more as the weeks have gone on, as Michigan's quarterback pursuits start to kind of ramp up in 2022 as other guys go to other schools or whatever. And Nate Johnson looks like a guy who's right now at the top of the priority list.
Yeah, you just had Alex Orji come off the board. He was the other guy that was at the top of the list. He committed to Virginia Tech. Now Nate Johnson's really the only viable option at quarterback. If we were to I was going to make a quarterback big board over at the Wolverine this week. There's nobody on it other than Nate Johnson. He's still more of a project guy, more of a developmental guy, but he's a dual threat prospect. Matt Weiss has talked to him a lot about the way they used Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, we're not comparing him to Lamar Jackson, but he is a kid that can make a lot of plays with his legs. That's still pretty raw as a passer, but he's the typical prospect, I guess, you want to take after a J.J. McCarthy, who you see as kind of the future of the franchise. I guess with Nate Johnson, it's more of this is a kid that can come in and maybe we can turn him into something at the quarterback position. And then worst case scenario, he can move over to the secondary. Some schools have actually offered him as a defensive back. So that's something to watch as well. But right now, he's just a really, really good, talented athlete that they like at the quarterback position. And like I said, he's the only guy on the board right now.
Yeah, and if they can land a guy like him, you mentioned, kind of more like a project type, and then they're able to get Dante Moore in 2023. I think that those are three really good classes where you go JJ, possibly a Nate Johnson, and a Dante Moore, but that's obviously way down the road at the quarterback spot. But things shaping up decently there. The last guy on this list, one of the key official visitors, Justice Finley, a 4-star defensive tackle in 22 out of Trussville, Alabama. Obviously going to be another tough pull out of the South, but he's heading north and will be on campus as well.
Yeah, so Justice is an interesting situation. He got a lot of offers early on, but he didn't really grow as projected. So I think he lacked some of the height and length that the traditional SEC powers are looking for. So while he's still on their board, a school like Alabama isn't necessarily making him a top overall priority like Michigan is. So I think there's room for Michigan to close with him this summer. Actually, he's set 3 official visits, and they are to Michigan, Colorado, and Texas. Justice will be on campus June 18th, same weekend as Walter Nolan and Will Johnson. Will's already been reaching out to Justice a little bit, so that'll definitely help as well. But like I said, the only Southern school in that group of 3 is Texas. So I think there's a lot of room for Michigan to make a power move here. He's been on campus before. He actually visited for a game, not last fall, obviously, but the fall before that. I believe his mother is a doctor, so he's a high academic kid, and he really values what Michigan has to offer from an education standpoint. So I think it looks tough on the surface, but I really do feel like Michigan is a major player there and is actually in a position to land him.
There you have it. Those are the 5 most key official visitors for the month of June. It's kind of exciting. Guys are getting back on campuses here, and finally the NCAA looks like, according to some reports and everything, they're going to lift that dead period and allow this to go on. So obviously huge for recruits, huge for schools such as Michigan. But that is our video for today. Remember to check us out at thewolverine.com. The promo code is BLUE60. You can join us absolutely free for 2 months, so do that right now, and we'll see you next time.